Bakti Hawa, Bakti Hawa Shine, Bakti Hawa, Bakti Hawa Shine, Bakti Hawa, Bakti Hawa Shine. Job 15:6. Thy own lips condemn thee, not I. Yeah, thy own lips testify against thee.
Rules of procedure. I invite the following briefers to participate in this meeting. Mr. Dirk Polman, journalist, and Mr. I now give the floor to Mr. Jimmy Dore.
Greetings, Mr. President, distinguished members of the Council. I'm here to speak today about the attack on the Nord Stream pipeline that took place 1 year ago on September 26, 2022. Four explosions ruptured the Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines that carried natural gas from Russia to Europe. It was the biggest act of industrial sabotage in human history, severing the main artery for energy from Russia to Germany, cheap energy that was critical to maintaining Germany's industrial base.
Ecclesiastes 14:5. He that is evil to himself, whom will he do good? He shall not partake, he shall not take pleasure in his goods. You know? And you see, man, this will hold a white man, this Edomite man. In his own nation, in his own kingdom, in the rebirth, of the beast system. He's out here attacking his enemies, man. In his own nation. So he who doing his own nation good, man, the whole Edomite should be up. That whole blessing, man, but itself, man. Amalek. Amalek will cut off Amalek, man. So to him to for his own benefit. So he who is evil to his own lines, man, him shall do good. you know, you going to war with these Russians, and Jake be, oh, we gonna be here to World War III, man, or World War V, or what? And even if it was, your ass would be in internment camps. People want to reject the Lord. That's how you know people worship America. Because if you say, "Oh, World War III, fine," you either don't know. You gotta be some tether dog, some immigrant. You gotta be some immigrant who refuses to actually learn about any type of history. So you worship America and shit. And you're gonna ignore all. You just wanna worship America because you wanna be narcissistic about but your poverty or whatever you went to, and just be acting like you're in the land of milk and honey, man. America's dumb. America is a nigga's heaven, man, because they get to live in a world where they perceive that they don't gotta deal with the judgments of the Lord.
I've heard every cockney and ridiculous theory on how this happened. Now, you don't need to be a genius investigative reporter to figure out who was the culprit of the Nord Stream attack. Incredibly, most Western news outlets ignore the fact that the President of the United States, Joe Biden himself, announced on February 9, 2022, that he would in fact attack the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, saying, and I quote, if Russia invades Ukraine, tanks crossing the border again, there will no longer be a Nord Stream 2 pipeline. We will bring an end to it. I promise you, we will be able to do it. Even with that pre-admission of guilt from the President of the United States, most of the Western press remained baffled as to who.
Oh man, see these people can just openly proclaim this, man, because that's the type of energy that make it had better, man. It's not, man. You think you're the old do an order unlocked. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised, man. We see hungry. When people called the Windchucker called out the North Sea 2 pipeline, you see hungry just laugh on the geek. These people know what's up, man. These people being very despised, man, especially, Amalek, man, the banker class. The Lord gonna put an evil thought on them, turn the nukes because they ain't going. This NWO ain't gonna come long enough. This NWO will come with poverty, depopulation. But these people aren't gonna realize, man, it's not Esau really trying to, really, extend, his rulership by just, putting all the heathen on. But he's really gonna be weakening, these heathen still deal with them, and, the subservient system that you know, they gonna press the button. Uh, the prime. And they that eat of this currency, this dollar, this fiat debt, have laid a wound under thee. There's none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, understanding out the mount of Edom, and the mighty men shall be dismayed, and Teman, and we're seeing these Germans are dismayed, man. They will impress the nukes because we see that they're affected the most, man. When when the Edomites in America and Amalek trying to cut off the wise men and Teman in Russia, you know, and that everyone on the Mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
Pulled off the greatest act of eco-terrorism in history. But luckily, we don't have to rely on my interpretation of President Biden's clear threat to attack the pipelines. We actually have Seymour Hersh, a genius investigative reporter with impeccable reputation and credentials, who reported that in June of 2022, United States Navy divers operating under the cover of a widely publicized summer NATO exercise known as Baltops 22 planted the remotely triggered explosives that 3 months later destroyed 3 of the 4 Nord Stream pipelines, according to a source with direct knowledge of the operational planning. And like all criminals, the perpetrators could not contain their elation over committing the crime. Shortly after the attack, many high-ranking U.S. officials could not help but brag about their achievements and expressed multiple times how they were proud of being able to put an end to the pipelines. Undersecretary of State Victoria Nuland said, "I am, and I think the administration is, very gratified to know that Nord Stream 2 is now, as you like to say, a hunk of metal at the bottom of the sea." The United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken called it a tremendous opportunity to once and for all remove the dependence on Russian energy. You have to be a paid liar to not acknowledge the hand of the United States in carrying out these attacks. Not only did President Biden declare he would do this, but high-ranking U.S. officials have said similar things for years. We can look to 2014 when former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice stated that over the long run, you simply want to change the structure of energy dependence. You want to depend more on North American energy platforms, which is what this is really all about, an economic war between the
Jeremiah 49:16, thy terribleness hath deceived thee, that pride of thine heart, O that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, man, Mount Seir, that holdest the height of the hill, that that shouldst makest thy nest as high as the eagle, man. Hence I will bring thee down. I'll bring thee down from hence, so that saith the Lord Yahweh, man. Exalted thy soul, even in America, man. That truly be his end. Also, Edom shall be desolate. Every one that go by shall be astonished, and they shall hiss at the place, therefore. As the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities, therefore, saith the Lord Yahweh, no man shall abide there, neither no son of man shall dwell there. Because the nuclear missiles, man. Behold, he shall come like a lion swelling from Jordan against the inhabitants of the strong, which I shall suddenly make him run away from her. Who is chosen? Who may I appoint over her? Who is like me? Who shall be appointed in that time? Who is that shepherd who shall stand before me? Therefore, here's the counsel of the Lord Yahweh. He has taken against Edom, and his purposes he has taken against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flocks shall draw them out. He shall make them desolate. Who, we see them, man. That these heathen, man, they're greatly despised, man. These Amalekites, whoever they are. We see, man, they know what's 17. Where's the 17? Ukraine did it. Ukraine did it. the whites, the Edomites, man. Because we see, man, even the Saudis are not you condemn them. They're not even against them. They're not even for the Russian operation. I'm saying for Russia. Hey, you wanna go into vacation to Russia? Operation. Just kidding, no, it's for real. It's not ain't no war. It's operation. And you go to jail for saying it's a war, but that's true. It was a war. It would have been done less than a year. But no, there is no more wisdom in team and all. Ukraine did it, man. You're intentionally starved. Your people are starving, being starved out. Hyperinflation. And that's what the Lord has done against team and you know the Teamanites in Germany. Them Teamanites who went to our land and formed a state through terrorism, pretending to be refugees. You know? Yeah, and there's no more wisdom, man. Them is hasty. Says we, man, and man, that they want to get a bus in Ukraine, even though them Israelis are making deals with the global south. And so it's funny. It's funny how the enemy is, or, um, all these other Edomites outside of Teman, really, the land of Teman and the land of Germany are able to partake in these deals, man. That shows you how evil, how wicked the Edomite is. The earth is moved at the fall of their noise, man, at the nukes and shit. Even though, it's gonna be mainly news, but man, the earth might even be also shaking for how much people are just rejoicing at Eon. At the cry of the noise thereof, who therefore who heard the Red Sea. Behold, I shall come up and fly as the eagle, spread my wings over Basra, that's the capital of Esau. In that day, the, in that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Esau be as the heart of women in pags, man. So,
In Russia in order to fill the pockets of rapacious capitalists who actually pull the strings of the U.S. government and dictate foreign policy. So let's pull back and take a look at the context in which this pipeline bombing occurred, shall we? It's all happening under the guise of defending Ukraine from an unprovoked Russian invasion. But of course, that's only true if you start the story of the Ukraine war somewhere near the end of the story instead of the beginning, which would indict Ukraine, the U.S., and NATO. The U.S. and NATO are to blame, which is why the Western media always leaves the origin of this conflict out of their coverage and leaves most people in the dark with a false version of the cause of the conflict. Most Americans believe that Vladimir Putin woke up one day and decided for no particular reason to invade Ukraine and start a war completely out of the blue.
Second Thessalonians 2:11, and for this cause, Yahweh sent me outside, so send strong delusion that they shall believe a lie. And all these niggas do believe in lies. Goofy on. Only the Israelites dumb enough to believe this propaganda, man. I ain't see no white people. I mean, I honestly don't. It's a car. It's a car fucking love Ukraine. You see, it's a car. They had the Ukrainian flag up in that bitch. You know? Jake even over the mustache propaganda, man. You How that time you even get rid of 6 million of them? But these people got all type of bomb technologies, and they're supposedly only killing 1 million and half a million. $26,000, you're only supposedly killing 1 million people. Well, with all this different technology, these people are being created strong delusion, man. And hey, if this mustache man was such a bad guy, he had the support of America and the support of Ford. That no, they just weaponize him. That this you cannot have no conversation. Oh, this man is the worst man in the world. This man is the worst man in the world. But remember, I was cool with me. My um, mm, but these people could be Edomites, man. Could be Amalek. We was joking. I was trying. We're coming up with a list worst people alive. The worst white people, worst black people alive, worst white people. You cannot even compare. You cannot even compare the atrocities. The worst black person, and the most people that are responsible to kill. And you compare that, that's a gold line. You compare that to the atrocities and the colonization that came out of America. You got kings, you know, you got you got 30 you might have 30 million bodies in the Congo alone. You know, these people are gonna bring in strong delusion. You know, these people are going to war in 2015, 14. Or these people are causing goods, these people causing peace just to build their army. Oh, Russia just this warmonger. When Russia gave them peace and they just said, oh, it was all kind of just to build up our army, to build up our expensive. Now how we gonna keep this a forever protracted war? These people, you know, believe in this strong delusion. These people, you got Nigerians. Oh, let me go to school, let me work on some of my school. That's what them Nigerians and Ukrainians think now. Now them niggas are internment camps, slaves, man. They ain't treated like goddamn dogs. These people who truly worship this education. It's not like it's just let me just get my education to get out of this. I don't really value the white man. It's just certification. Don't even think like that. You know, they be celebrating, they be gelling, they be clicking, they be doing their tribal dances. Man, do your tribal dances in a fucking internment camp. Sipping water out metal bowls and shit. Slam metal bowls on your shit. And you're literally in internment camp by goddamn nonsense. You told Nigerian that he don't care. No, that nigga wanna go to a rooftop. And get you a conga mine faster than you get Jake. Every time you told Jake that you told Jake that you did Bob every time. Oh, I had this good, even though But even when I was around eating my Christians, they would talk about, oh, if this person doesn't eat this, you don't eat that in front of them. You know, some type of level of grace. Jake don't have that. Man, so it's strong delusion. And you man, Jake gonna be the last to wake up, man.
This is what supporters of the Ukraine in this war actually believe, because that's the only narrative they hear from their news media, which is funded by the people who profit off this war, the military-industrial complex, the fossil fuel companies in the West, and of course Wall Street. To make a crude analogy of the Western media's coverage of the Russian invasion is the following. Let's say Vladimir Putin was standing on a bus stop and there was an old lady standing in the street and a bus was heading straight for her. So Vladimir Putin pushes the old lady out of the way of the oncoming bus and down onto the concrete sidewalk. The Western corporate media would start that story near the end saying Russian president pushes old lady down onto the concrete. The same goes for the entirety of the Ukraine-Russian war. The Western media starts the story of the war at February 24th, 2022, which is definitely not when this conflict started. They leave out the 2014 coup of the democratically elected Ukraine government orchestrated by the CIA in conjunction with Ukraine Nazis. They leave out the fact that the Russian-speaking ethnic population in the eastern part of Ukraine, known as the Donbass, didn't want to go along with the CIA Nazi coup government, and so the newly coup right-wing Ukraine government started shelling the citizens of the Donbass via their henchmen, known as the Nazi Azov Battalion, that ended up killing somewhere around 18,000 civilians in the Donbass. They leave out also there was a peace agreement that was reached to end the shelling by the Ukraine government and the Nazi Azov Battalion, known as the Minsk Accord, because
Behold, behold, be- behold, behold. Habakkuk 2:4. Behold, his soul is not, which is lifted up, is not upright in him. But the just shall live by faith. Yeah, also because he transgressed by wine, he's also a proud man. Neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, cannot be satisfied, but gather upon him all people, and heapeth, gather upon him all nations, and heapeth upon him all people, shall not take a parable against him. In a taunting proverb, saying, woe to him that increases by which is not his how long, who laden himself with the clay, they shall not rise up. Shall they not rise up? And that they shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, thou shalt be for booties uh, unto them. Because I have spoiled many nations in the remnant of all the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, for the violence of the land and the city, and of all therein. Woe to him that covet an evil covetousness to his house. He may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from evil. Though thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and have not sinned against thy soul, for a stone may cry against the wall, and a beam out of the timber shall answer it. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establisheth a city by iniquity. By a city by iniquity. Behold, is it not the Lord of armies, that the people shall labor in this very fire, and the people shall weary for themselves this very vanity? For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh, as the waters cover the sea. Woe unto them who give his neighbor drink, and putteth that bottle unto him, and make him drunken also, and thou mayest look upon it. Look at their nakedness, thou art filled with the shameful glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered, and the cup of the Lord's right hand shall be, turned unto thee. Shameful spewing shall be on his glory. For the violence of Lebanon shall cover thee, and spoil thee, which men am afraid of men's blood, for the violence of the land in the city of all that were within. What profiteth the graven image that the maker hath graven it, and the molten image of a teacher of lies, which maketh his trust the maker of his work that trusteth therein, to make dumb idols. Who unto him that shall say to the wood, awake, to the dumb stone, arise? Who shall teach it? Behold, It is laid over with gold and silver, and no breath at all in the myth. But the Lord is in the holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him.
The people who broke that peace agreement was not Russia.
We know this man. He keepeth not at home. He built upon him all people, all nations. He'll go to your nation. You'll find whatever tribe, however disconnected, because of the confusion that he got. Him changing names and heritages and landmarks and borders and so now these people don't recognize themselves as necessarily a unified identity under tribe. So they oppress each other like the heathen. They not dealing with the Lord. Cause he keep it not at home. He keep it. Oh, he got beef with Russia, Ukraine. He got to beef with China, Taiwan. He got to beef with Iran, Saudi Arabia. Yeah. Also, he transgressed by wine. He's a proud man. He keep it not at home. He desires his desire as hell as death, man. I mean, you have half a million Ukrainians that have died for what? For nothing. So all this declaration, all this debt, everything that he's doing, he throwing all these people as fuel to his fire, sacrificing all these people to build his image to the beast. So all that debt not take a parable against him. So the people he's been robbing through his fiat currency, shall they not bite thee? Shall they not rob him? Because he was robbing all the nations. He spoiled all the remaining of the people. You know, slaying all type of men. Filling all the land with violence. Every land is filled. All the land is filled with cities because of these Edomites, man. And man, he's selfish, man. All he does, he just keeps stealing and adding to his house. So like he's gonna stab us. He gonna be delivered from evil. Like Nimrod creating his ziggurat. You know? Man, so what any nation not built upon the laws. The Lord had to fall, man. Israel had to fall, man, and we were built upon the laws, man. So imagine, man, if you built a land according to sin and how we got judged, how they gotta get judged. And not only did they not build upon the laws, they built it on sin, and it went to become the greatest nation ever. So how no more do they need to be judged, man? Because it wasn't meant for for the whole world to be this selfish, wrapped up in money. That's what Jake wanted. Jake wanted to live in vanity, so that's why they don't care about this. You don't mind saying ain't so worried about vanity. These heathen not worried about vanity. You go. When we really be around the heathen, these heathen do not be so frugal, like, are not irresponsible with their money like Jake trying to play the lottery. You know, these heathen. If Jake, man, if Jake gotta see how these heathen live, then they won't want it, man. And they don't, man. They don't like no penny pincher. You know, you know. The world's gonna fill with the knowledge of the Lord, man. Because right now you got Edom. He gonna give the wickedness. He gonna give you that wicked his neighbor drink. Ooh, oh, we gotta stop Russia and Hitler. Man. So you put the the bottle to get the drug with the philosophy of the beast, man, to rebuild that image. When you destroy them, man, they give Ukraine the bottle, but you see them, they just strip desolate. No, America's being exposed, man, because America's an idol that it's a dumb idol. It don't speak, it don't breathe. Imagine you worshiping the soul, you making a molten image. You're making an image, maybe a sculpture, with some heat or something, and you worshiping that. Or what it gonna teach you, you know? Which is spiritual, man. Can you say? Can you say to a stone, rise? Can you say, hey, lift up stone? But you would make an idol.
The Ukraine government and the Nazis. They leave out the fact that there was already an overall peaceful way to avoid war, and Russia, but the Ukraine government and the Nazis. They leave out the fact that there was already an overall peaceful way to avoid war and the slaughter of hundreds of thousands of precious Ukrainians, which was recently admitted to by the Secretary General of NATO, who admitted that it was the expansion of NATO onto Russia's border that was the real prevarication, and the U.S. and NATO refused. But the Ukraine government and the Nazis, they leave out the fact that there was already an overall peaceful way to avoid war and the slaughter of hundreds of thousands of precious Ukrainians, which was recently admitted to by the Secretary General of NATO, who admitted that it was the expansion of NATO onto Russia's border that was the real prevarication, and the U.S. and NATO refused to stop their expansion onto Russia's border. All this amnesia is necessary for the continued aggression and warmongering of the U.S. and NATO to be accepted by the citizens of the United States and Europe. Well, I'm here to cure them of their amnesia and remind them of the true cause of not only the Nord Stream bombing, but of the entire Ukraine war and the destabilization of the Middle East, including Libya, Iraq.
You know, Ezekiel do 28:2. Son of man, the Israelites, man, saith unto the prince of Tyrus, who at the time, was the Hamites, but I'm pretty sure Edomites is in there right now. Ultimately, whoever that is, whatever that would be, in the Middle East. Let's say it the Lord, probably Turks, but let's say the Lord, how about send me outside, because thine heart is lifted up. Thou hast said, I am God, and I shall send the seed of God. And the seeds, man, in the midst of the people. Yet thou art man and not God, thou shalt sit and set thy heart as the heart of God. And that's what the Edomites have done, man. They said, oh, whatever their belief, their universalism, as the heart is God. God loves everybody, man. That's the heathen. That's the Edomite. Belief, that's a heathen belief, man. That's how you enslave everybody. God love everybody. Come here, we're all meant to be one. That's how you slave. We're all meant to be one, but everybody ain't in the big banking system. And behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There ain't no secret that you hide from me. These Edomites are wiser than Daniel. Did Daniel know that the World War III would be one of the major causes would be the blow of this uh this pipeline? Daniel couldn't do that, and we know that, man. But with thy wisdom and with thy understanding, thou hast gotten great riches, hast gotten golden treasure. But by wisdom and by traffic hast thou increased thy riches, thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches. It's not money, man. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, thou hast set thy heart as God. Fair heart in his heart, the Lord heart in his heart. Behold, there I will bring stranger unto thee, the terrible nations, uh, and they shall draw thy sword against thy beauty, thy wisdom, and defile thy brightness. Good, people think America that light, and people go think America's still. As much as people complain about America, America gonna be here till 2025. You will see how nigga truly feels until when they say, if they don't think World War III could even potentially be the end. You see where they at? They think America is light, and they really can't imagine a world without America being light, regardless of what they say. And they shall bring thee down to the pit, and they shall die deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. Thou, wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am God? So is he gonna? It might be, I'm a God. You gonna put a gun to it? If you put a gun to your head, I ain't saying nothing. Neither is that what the Edomites gonna say to these nations when they pull the nukes, when they messing these boys up, when they really have war, not operations. When they really have war. When Russia, when they say, oh, these Ukrainians are casualty adverse, when these Russians are not Ukraine, these Russians will gladly die. Shit, if I'm a Russian, I would die in the army to come and get. Yeah, I'm any nation to lose my life fighting against America, based on how much poverty and sanctions that we all been forced to go through. That's an easy sacrifice. That's easy for but thou shalt be a man and no God in the hand of him that slayeth him. So it don't matter what he thinks, he's still gonna get slayed. And I hope he still think that. I hope when he come into I hope he don't think he God all 1,000 years till he burnt up. They gonna think they got and the last year of captivity. Because man, because even after we're gonna run, man, there's none we could do to do worse. We still gotta burn them. Even as a result, they're just still defiled. Though thou shalt die the death of uncircumcision by the hands of strangers, I have spoken it, saith the Lord. And they will die, because it's we're the chosen people. Basically, America's built on the doctrine of Israelites. America being Israelites, being the God's new chosen people, be given this new land, being able to take it away from the Canaanites. Canada, Canaan 4. Call you Hamites, they enslaved the Hamites. Moreover, the word of the Lord came on to me, saying, O son of man, take a lamentation against the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, that thou shalt seal him up, full of wisdom and beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of Yahweh Samuel, side of every precious stone. Every precious stone was covering this: the sardis, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, the carbuncle, the gold, the workmanship of the tabrets, and the pipes that cut prepared thee in the day that thou wast created, man. Going back to the garden, man, was it where the Hamites, in basically Jerusalem, in the garden sort of Edom at the time, and thou art that anointed chair that covered. I have set thee, thou was upon thy holy mountain of thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire, and thou was perfect in thy ways from the day that thou was created till the iniquity was found in thee. And he made perfect with wickedness, just like even the spiritual Satan betrayed. No, Satan he was perfectly created in his wickedness. You know, you might get it. Even after the kingdom, we might have even a different cool relationship with Satan, man. Probably gonna be with Satan. Probably gonna link up with him. He probably a brother, man. Probably Israelite brother. Like another angel. And the relationship is gonna be cool with him because it's gonna be. I mean, yeah, he's still gonna be dealing with the left hand angels. I'm sure they're gonna be a little idol worship here and there. Someone gonna get simple, try to worship some rock or whatever. And, just to you know just to create a little balance or whatever. But ultimately, we gonna work with him for judgment, sick demons on people, because we gonna get the perfect control of both sides, man. Because we're not gonna be struggling with both sides. This battle between wickedness and righteousness, that shit done for. By the multitudes of thy merchandise, thou hast filled the midst of thee with violence. Thou hast sinned, therefore I will cast thee is profane out of the mountain of Yahweh Samuel outside, out of the mountain of God. You know, and we see, man, Esau. He threw us out the garden. He probably wanted to eat it. Esau coming in here. The wicked sons of the wicked. The servant he probably came in there. You know, probably came in there with his melanin, with that royal melanin, with the royal curls. He looked like an Israelite. Probably had a little. Probably had that moisturized snappy head. Probably had real nice curls. He looking, man. He seen all the just he probably wanted them for himself, man. He Jake with that line with that deception. Just get them out, no God, man. The Lord gonna have to kick them out, throw them out, man. Thy heart is lifted up because of thy beauty. Tell the Lord, see, and he kicked them out, and then kicked them out again, man. He stripped them of their melanin, man. All this, man, go back to Adam and the serpent, man. Who want that mountain of God? All man. You gonna get it through righteousness. You gonna get it through deception. What you let thine heart is lifted up because of the beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings that may behold. Thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of iniquities, by the multitude of traffic. Nothing creates iniquity like traffic. That's why Ecclesiastes. Oh, I wasn't sure if I could get these, but Ecclesiastes 27:2. As a nail sticketh fast between joining of stones, so does sin stick close between buying and selling. So you just ready commerce on it. People think, oh, let me go get more money so I get to less. But man, how you get that money, man? Could be a witness against you, man. Especially when it said, has been defiled by the multitude of iniquities by the iniquity of traffic. See, and because of the iniquity of traffic, hey, we all sin. We're all compromised at this day due to, I mean, not the Israelites, but especially the way the Biden and son has got people so compromised. People don't want no gospel. People don't want no prophecy. People don't want the Lord. People don't want the truth. People don't want the heritage. People don't want their food. People don't want good health. They're all compromised. If you can't put down the canoe, well, people are compromised to the multitude of the iniquities of the traffic. Therefore, I will bring a fire to thee. You gotta burn. The Lord gotta burn the land of canoe oil. The Lord gotta burn the land of seed oils. The Lord gotta burn the land of soy butter. The soy, don't even say butter on that bitch. They made you an enemy of butter. I don't want to say lard because I'm not sure that's pork. Or I think it's cow fat, but so I don't want to say that. I mean, you really, oh, you can eat. Oh, it's bad for you. You deep frying oil. You deep frying olive oil. That's bad for you. Go deep fry this canola oil. Then the Lord gotta burn that place. That place gotta go. That place is the man. I'm killing every man. Cigarettes can constrict your arteries or whatever your veins or whatever it's called. You know. We're not the wise men in the world, man. We're the spiritual men of the world, man. You know, the world called we're foolish, man. The world called the foolish things. I ain't gonna be so technical about everything, man. But you know, but that shit will constrict your arteries or whatever. For 3 hours, man. You eat that canola oil, man. That shit will constrict your arteries for 24 hours. So these niggas are always constricted. You gotta remind niggas, everybody has cancer. So technically, everybody's a stroke risk at all times. Man, we all have lived lives of constricted arteries 24/7. Man, the Lord God burn this place. Man, this place is wicked. All they that know thee among the people shall be astonished. They shall be in terror. They shall never shall though be anymore.
Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria. The reason for that is the imperialistic lust of the United States empire. The U.S. now has over 800 military bases around the world without.
And he that keepeth not at home, man, is desire as hell, man. He keep these militaries not at home, man. China got like 2 military bases. See, all these other countries, it's all about the economics, man. I mean, yeah, sure, where they commit more war crimes if America didn't monopolize it damn near, there's no point committing a war crime because it's gonna be so. Imagine there actually was a country actually really committed like war crimes that wasn't backed by America, and America will actually had enough evidence. Even if America did go invade a country over war crimes, it's not actually to be to be just, but imagine you will catch hell, man. If America could actually justify a war against Russia, it would be all hellfire on these niggas, man.
Able to cite an actual threat to their sovereignty. The U.S. is now ending its empire the way all empires end, by overextending itself militarily while it starves its own people at home. The real threat is the threat of U.S. economic interests. The U.S. has for decades feared German engineering and capital joining Russia's natural resources and manpower. As elucidated very clearly by the founder of the U.S. intelligence firm Stratford, George Friedman, in his 2010 book says, quote, Russia does not threaten America's global position, but the mere possibility that it might collaborate with Europe and particularly Germany opens up the most significant threat in a decade, a long-term threat that needs to be nipped in the bud. Therefore, maintaining a powerful wedge between Germany and Russia is of overwhelming interest to the United States. For the U.S., Friedman added in 2015, the primordial fear is German technology and German capital combining with Russian natural resources and Russian manpower to form the only combination that has for centuries scared the hell out.
See, and who took the brunt of ending World War II? Man, it was Russia. We celebrate us, but Russia. And look how many soldiers Russia raped. How many legs? How many legs Russia was splitting up from 10 to 80? These niggas ain't seen no women. These niggas is ugly as shit. you know, my family went to school to a person who Russian swole man who told us, "Go, I had a dream of raping you." Like, these niggas, man. So imagine that's a Russian ass nigga. That's a Khazarian ass nigga, man. So in the early '60s, Khazarians on these American citizens who lived with no cares, you know, who do all these plays, especially these women, even these men, man. You men, it ain't gonna be much different for these men, you know. You better go get ran through. You better go get sidelined down here, man.
The United States. In this showdown, the U.S. aims to control the line from the Baltics to the Black Sea. Russia, by contrast, must have at least a neutral Ukraine, not a pro-Western Ukraine, because a neutral Ukraine would impede the primordial U.S. goal of a Russian-German fissure. The U.S. has opted for a proxy war instead. The Western governments are silent, even as the U.S. says through anonymous sources that Ukraine is responsible for the Nord Stream attack, but they won't blame them publicly. And so the United States continues to arm Ukraine opted for a proxy war instead. The Western governments are silent, even as the U.S. says through anonymous sources that Ukraine is responsible for the Nord Stream attack, but they won't blame them publicly.
Oh, I said Germany blaming Ukraine. If I said that, I just misheard that, So America, they're probably not them not blaming anybody. They out here hyperinflating. They just go be silent, be quiet.
And so the United States continues to arm Ukraine to the teeth in hopes of extending the war and avoiding peace. The Germans say it's Ukraine, but will not release their official investigation and will not make an announcement. The final obscenity.
My bad, I wasn't wrong. So yeah, so America's doing it through Russian sources. So Germany's just saying, but they won't.
And so the United States continues to arm Ukraine.
But it's probably America set up puppets in Germany from
To the teeth in hopes of extending the war and avoiding peace. The Germans say it's Ukraine, but will not release their official investigation and will not make an announcement. The final obscenity is that the people in the West who claim to be environmentalists and claim to care about climate change and the environment say nothing about the worst.
See, and they're gonna use the climate to enslave us, to steal our food, to kill our cattle, make us eat fucking bugs, cancerous, fake meat, impossible meat. You know how it used to be. Let's go make you some fake meat. Okay, this sounds good. Okay, let's just give me some fake meat. Alright, fine. I'll be fine. Give it to me. You know how these songs, they release the traffic. You don't even, that's by using the cancer cells. So, okay. It's pretty good. Okay. Eat this. Supplement oil, for a kid, for a grandkid. You make for a careful like it. Yeah, you know what these houses are dead 20 years, 8 years, 20 years, 20, 20, 50. Who's going on 20? That's 2045 all that. 2045 will be the last hour. 2045. Now, so niggas talking about all type of this and this and that. Nation for hatred. Nation for angry. Yeah, I'm dead. And they shall be good. Build down. To the steel word of the sin for the problem. To the sin and learn that fear that is. To destroy them that destroy them. Do I use the word destroy power? Change that. Really fast. Of the worst. You see these niggas keep throwing oil on them. Holy shit. Talking about us. There's no such thing as global warming.
Release of methane gas in human history, but in fact whose actions reveal they don't actually care about climate change and continue. Even Greta Thunberg traveled to Ukraine to meet with Zelensky after the Nord Stream bombing. Thank you for allowing me to speak. The United States continues to arm Ukraine to the teeth in hopes of extending the war and avoiding peace. The Germans say it's Ukraine, but will not release their official investigation and will not make an announcement. The final obscenity is that the people in the West who claim to be environmentalists and claim to care about climate change and the environment say nothing about the worst release of methane gas in human history, but in fact whose actions reveal they don't actually care about climate change and continue.
So you're telling me blowing up 3 out of the 4 Nord Stream pipelines was fuck. So you're telling me blowing up 3 of the 4 Nord Stream pipelines wasn't a worse methane gas release than cow farts? So you see the type of logic that these Edomites are coming with. It's only coming to rob you, to murder you, to starve you to death, to cause mass instabilities. And we've seen it. And we've seen it all over the world. We've seen it all over the world throughout the years, throughout recent years. And then what they gonna do? They're gonna put in the digital ID. Probably gonna have a slot. We're probably all gonna have to deal with it. You know, there's probably gonna be a time where we might have to get the digital ID. We ain't gonna have none on it though. Might have just a little bit of money, like so supposedly the Chinese have. But you know, as long as the people got complacent with the infrastructure, as people are, or you know, type of delusions. Okay, like a secret. So, I hope this lesson was edifying. Brought to you how, brought to you outside, brought to you out. How brought to you outside. Call hello. You mean how about 7 outside? About 7 outside.
Support this war and its eco-terrorism. In a bizarre twist, even Greta Thunberg traveled to Ukraine to meet with Zelensky after the Nord Stream bombing. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
I thank Ms. Dore for his briefing.
We thank Dirk Pohlman and Jimmy Dore for their briefings, which have once again demonstrated to the Security Council that citizens of Western countries also have a great deal of questions for their governments.
Hey, come see us on tour. We're going to be in Tampa, Boca Raton, Orlando,
Right.
Dallas, Houston, San Diego.
They have a green deal of questions. No, just you know, on it, man. I can feel Confederacy for the bring you to the border, for the BD at the border. Talk about that it's wartime. About to beat you to the valley, your host fast smack that out one more time. Then they drown the motherfucking nukes. Bow, bow, bow. Nigga done.